Welcome back to the data center portion of our podcast discussion. Thank you for tuning into all the other sections. Again, I'm Stephen Parsons with Corning Optical Communications. I'm here today with Kevin Nolan, President of Vision Technologies, and Jesse Wiggington, who's our subject matter expert for data centers. His title is VP of Operations and Special Projects. So gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So today we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about data centers. So currently the data center market is experiencing some delays due to supply chain, some of which are caused by the chip shortages in the market, and they're slowing down some of the ambitious growth that our hyperscale customers have been forecasting. We've seen the passage of the CHIPS bill from our federal government. We've also heard major announcements from both Micron and Intel, major chip manufacturers. So the hope is that that problem will be coming to an end soon. With that, I'd like to do a little bit deeper dive into Vision's game plan for the immediate future. So with that, the first question is for Kevin. Is Vision experiencing supply chain issues, and what are some best practices you guys are implementing to address it?
We have no supply chain issues. Obviously in this day and age, supply chain issues are prevalent across all technologies. Mm-hmm. And so, on one hand, it's a daily issue for our teams, our purchasing team, our project management teams. What we find ourselves doing more often than not is really working both sides. One, working with you, Corning, to prioritize to the best of your ability. I know you have many masters to serve, so it's a difficult thing for you to do. But these hyperscale companies, they obviously buy large volumes from you and from us, so they can, at some levels for certain projects, get to the front of the line, and so that's helpful. But beyond that, what we basically try to do is work with these customers. The good news is they get it because they see it everywhere. But it still can be frustrating. So what you do is you work with them on prioritization and schedules and setting expectations. What I think is most important when you get through, okay, we're going to have issues, we're not going to have all the materials we want, how do you set priorities for your build, for what you need to get online? And then the second layer of that is proper expectations. So the thing that has to happen is we can say when some materials are going to arrive. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 2 months, it could be 6 months. Not that Corning 6 months. And it has to be reliable. We have seen in certain circles where dates have been set and dates have been missed and reset, and that can wear out a customer's patience pretty quickly. As long as you can set a mark and meet the mark, then customers can plan around reliable expectations. And I think that's the most important thing you can do.
Sure. Consistency. Yeah, that makes complete sense. Thank you for that. So with that, what investments is Vision making in its own infrastructure and its own planning and training to go out to the market and capture more of this data center and hyperscale business? So
it is our biggest business and our fastest growing business, and everything's about scale. So what we've done is we have made massive investments, multi-million-dollar investments in just about everything you can think of. We have made investments in recruiting. We have gone out to the market and we have recruited not only within our industry but outside our industry, in the military, in trade schools, community colleges, even high schools. And if you're recruiting people with no experience, then you have to have a robust training program, which we've put in place. How do you train people how to do the trade? So you could think about things like BICSI and PMI, but also how to operate within data centers. We have made investments in geographic expansion. We have made investments in our supply chain. So it is multi-million-dollar investments on every aspect that you'd think of. And I think, quite frankly, it's paying off. We get a great ROI because these companies, us and our competitors, see them. They keep growing, and when will that change? As far as I can see in the future, it won't.
Great, yeah. So Jesse, let's take that one layer deeper. So the forecast for the hyperscale data centers is quite tremendous. There's going to be a need for fiber, which Corning is concerned about. There's also going to be a tremendous need for skilled labor to install all that fiber. What steps is Vision taking to remedy that in the market and to address the data center market?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, obviously the market is saturated right now with a lot of technicians, and we have to figure out a way to go to market and build those technicians up. So one of the things, we've really started is looking at an apprenticeship program. So it is plugging into those local markets and taking somebody that may not have a lot of data center experience or actually none at all, and building a curriculum for them over multiple weeks and multiple segments to test into the program, build them up from no experience to at least somebody at the technician level that we can put on the site. Obviously, as these things continue to expand, we have to be able to add numbers and personnel in masses. So having that apprenticeship program as a start of that will help alleviate some of the pressures of finding individuals. Then from there, obviously having a big CATF is a big feather in our cap for training. And then obviously, as we can continue to do this onboard training that we're doing, that we've actually rolled out some of the LMS platforms for a lot of these technicians and their growth, career paths and growth plans that we have developed for them. It will help them continue to grow and develop, and then obviously we can continue to bring new personnel and continue to grow them as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, that sounds exciting. So back to Jesse. So when we talk about data center customers and when Corning talks about data center customers, we always tend to skew towards hyperscales, and hyperscales seem to dominate the conversations that we're having. But you guys have an incredibly robust, we'll call it traditional enterprise or core data center customer. What kind of guidance are you giving those folks about the coming challenges we're going to have with everything in the market?
Yeah, it's probably a three-pronged approach because, to your point, we have the hyperscale side, we have the multi-tenant or colo providers, then we have our enterprise data center. And, currently today, we've been lucky enough to where, we're able to support both our enterprise team, our multi-tenant, and our hyperscalers. As that continues to grow, we're obviously going to approach it kind of with the same thing, right? We have to have the apprenticeship, we have to have teammates ready. They are able to focus on different genres there because there is a different skill set that you're going to need for hyperscale environments because it is a different skill and different trade. As you get into multi-tenants, then you can have a different personnel in there. So it really is bringing the teammates in, understanding the needs of those customers, and continuing to build that pipeline of personnel to support them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Jesse, one last question. Can you tell me about a recent project where you used Corning products, and how it benefited both the project or the customer in some unique way?
Yeah, I think, I'll touch on one of the hyperscalers that we deal with together, and because it really resembles a great relationship that we have between, Vision and Corning, where we're able to leverage our relationships and the communication through that process to deliver success for the customer. So a large hyperscale project there to where we, it is owner furnished equipment together, but we still have to manage and we have to oversee that and deploy it. So we are working every day with your engineers and your distribution teams and all of your teammates on that side of the house to help support that customer. So we're communicating at the early stages for design. From there, we're making sure that shipments and lead times are together for that project. This was, probably hundreds of thousands of strands of fiber that we installed, spliced, and then obviously tested out on the site. And with the team's communication, the timelines of the project and the deadlines you're able to meet with the materials, it really led to a successful deployment for that customer Vision and then obviously Corning in that sense as well.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. Yeah, well, thank you, gentlemen, both for being here today. Incredibly excited about the future and having a partner like Vision to face it with. I think one thing that we all agree on in the different parts of this podcast is the market's different today than it was just even a few years ago. And our game plan together has got to be different and quite frankly better so that we can continue to service this market and grow together and our own businesses. So thank you again, guys. And
thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate it.